We're living in a culture now where loneliness is like an epidemic. Knowing how to be alone is very important. It's what will make you successful. It will bring you skills. You feel like people don't like you, they don't respect you, that you can't interact with them on a level that's meaningful. Opportunities come. You just have to be ready for them. You are being manipulated and you are being programmed. It's not a bad thing necessarily to be lonely. Part of the problem of loneliness is it's got this taboo against it. This bad name, like it's terrible to be lonely, terrible to be alone, right? And so you feel shamed for the fact that you're lonely. But actually, it's extremely important in life to be alone sometimes and to be able to be on your own and to think about yourself and to kind of come to terms with who you are and to embrace what makes you different. And you can't do that if you feel ashamed about being lonely or if you can't ever be alone. So, knowing how to be alone is very important. It's what will make you successful. It will bring you skills. So, don't think of it as something necessarily terribly negative in your life. But the other thing is you have to force yourself. You force yourself to go to the gym, to develop muscles and become stronger. You have to force yourself to interact with people and get out of your phone and have real experiences instead of virtual experiences. If you do that 10 times a month, just like going to the gym 10 times a month, your social skills will get better and better. Your social muscle will get better and better, and you'll feel better about interacting with people. It's the difference between you feel very unhappy that you're not connecting to other people. We're a social animal, and you feel like people don't like you, they don't respect you, that you can't interact with them on a level that's meaningful. Whereas the feeling of being alone for me, wow, I don't have to be around ugly, idiotic people. I can just be by myself. I can read a good book. I don't have to interact with people whose ideas I don't like. I can just be myself and be as weird as I want. Wow, what a relief. I'm so happy being alone, but sometimes I do feel that way. I think that's not a good thing. I think that's a terrible thing. So yes, isolation is bad. You need to be, you're a social animal. You're meant to be around other people. But if you can't be alone, you can't ever figure out what makes you different and what makes you unique. So you have to be able to play both sides of the game. But you know, opportunities come. You just have to be ready for them. So I had this opportunity that came to me, and you might say, well, that's lucky. That's never going to happen to me. But it will happen to you. You're just not ready for it. You're just not recognizing it. Some person will cross your path that can lift you out of what you're doing, who could connect you. But you're not paying attention. You're not ready for it. You don't think you deserve it. So there is opportunity all every day of the week. It's around you, is what I'm trying to say. There are two kinds of attitudes that I talk about. One is is an attitude that's closing, that's constrictive, that's narrow. And there's one that's expansive and open. You could call that pessimistic and optimistic. But the closed-down attitude is, you're only seeing life through this narrow little spectrum where everything is bad. People don't like you. There's hostility all around you. And what that means is you're not seeing reality. You're creating that reality. You're seeing it, and that's what happens to you. The expansive attitude is, life is amazing. All these incredible things are possible. I have hope. Any moment there could be an opportunity. And that's not reality either. But you're going to create that reality by feeling that way and seizing an opportunity, that the smallest crumb of an opportunity, you're going to create those good circumstances. So by your attitude, you create the bad things that happen to you in life. And you have to understand that you are being manipulated, that you are being programmed. That these people have figured out exactly the kinds of things, the kinds of images they're going to hook you, and you're being played. You're a fool. They're playing with you just like Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook knows all the algorithms to hook you to the news feed. You're being played by the images they know how to create and keep you always wanting more. Just like fast food has all these tricks to constantly you be eating their Doritos or whatever it is. Okay? But the other thing is, so I'm not going to preach and moralize about pornography from a prudish aspect of it, because I'm not a prude. But I have a chapter in the book that I'm writing on the sublime, on what I call love sublime, and the act of loving not God, not the universe, but another human being, an individual, man or woman, gay or straight or whatever it is. And what it is, in that relationship, the boundaries between the two of you are allowed to melt, and your ego can soften, and you can feel their world, and they can feel your world. And you have a connection that for a social animal is the highest form of connection. It's superior to a religious connection. I'm sorry. And what it requires is we have the expression falling in love, and it literally is falling. It's like you fall. You're open and you're vulnerable and you're letting yourself fall. And when you're not, what stops you from doing that is you don't want to be hurt. You don't want to be vulnerable, right? Because if you open yourself to someone else, you're likely to get hurt. And so the moment there's a disagreement between you, or there's a moment where a friend says something nasty about this person you're interested in, you stop falling. You cut it off and that romantic thing ends and dies. But if you get past that and you allow yourself to open up completely and you just keep falling, this incredible thing can happen. I describe it to you, and I describe it the dynamics of that and examples of that, and why for a social animal it's like the ultimate experience. And so pornography is completely robbing you of that, because love of another human being is a sense of enchantment, right? There's like this spark that's happening, this electricity, and it's obviously sex is involved, so it's a very physical relationship as well, but it goes beyond that. It also has a kind of spiritual component, right? But it's a sense of enchantment where the world becomes alive to everything is beautiful in the world in those moments, right? And pornography is disenchanting you from everything. It's making it all mechanical and ugly. It has no romance to it. It has no dimension to it. It's almost as if the two humans involved in it, or however, are like machine parts, right? They're not human anymore. And there's no human emotion involved. There's no kind of spiritual connection. It's depressing. It's really, really depressing. When I see it, I feel really sorry that I experienced this, and I feel really sorry for the people who are in that industry. I find it really, really ugly and alienating. And if young men particularly can't have that experience, if everything is so mechanical, is so computerized, it's going to be like AI, it's going to be like AI sex, then you're losing your soul. You're losing your capacity for really falling in love, for really having that kind of dimensional experience, which, by the way, can be extremely physical. And it can only last for 3 months. I'm not saying it has to be 20 years with one woman or one man. It could be for 3 months. But it enriches you. It makes you more human. It's not just pornography. There's too much of that in social media as well on other levels. So, you have to understand what it means to be a human being, first of all. And we're physical animals. We can't be in our heads all the time. We think with our bodies, right? We think with the chemicals mixing in our bodies. We're very physical, and we're social animals to the core. And that social animal, what makes us superior, is that we connect. I can kind of look at you and I can maybe understand what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and we can have a discussion, and our ideas can go back and forth and connect and go to higher levels of understanding or lower levels of disagreement. But that's what it means to be a human being. You're not this AI machine. You're not a bot. You're not an algorithm. You're not a little piece of data that Mark Zuckerberg can mix with. You're a human being with a body, with physical problems, with hormones, with emotions that are coursing through you. And you have to become a physical creature, which means doing things in the world, taking action, working, building a business, doing things with your hands, exercise, meeting people, be inside of your bodies. And when you're in pornography, you're disembodied, you're not in your body. You might be wanking off as far as I know, probably are, but you're not really inside of your body in any meaningful way. And so you have to kind of sometimes like to be with yourself, and sometimes being with other people can be a drag, can be painful. There can be people that can inflict a lot of pain on you. And so sometimes the grass is always greener, and I would often think about, and not to say that it doesn't hurt to be alone 'cause we're social animal, but maybe it's better that I don't have to be around all of these annoying people, and I can fill my time with other things. So, reading books, watching movies, etc. I'm not alone because I'm with other people, I'm with other spirits. Of course, I'm saying this is the perfect answer, but you have to be able to like to be alone is a very important skill in life, because you're inevitably going to be facing such moments. And so, you have to be able to like your own thoughts, to be interested in your own ideas, to be reading books, to be doing things that excite you. And if you're excited in your spirit, then you're not really alone. When I'm reading a great book, I don't feel so alone. Yes, I would like to share it with somebody else, but these are ways to kind of alleviate that. The other thing is to understand that you think that you're the only person like that. Everybody goes through that feeling. We're living in a culture now where loneliness is like an epidemic, and books are being written about it. People are bowling by themselves. There's a whole book written about that. It's a culture where we're not as social as we used to be. We're so much more virtual, so you're not alone in that. So you're not alone in your loneliness. It's very human. Other people are experiencing that, and be aware of it. How do you overcome it? You have to become more social. You have to put yourself out in this world and not be so virtual. Loneliness and being alone has a momentum to it, and I know it. I've experienced it myself. 'Cause being a writer, you're alone. Believe me, I'm alone a lot. When you're alone a lot, you get more and more afraid. You get more and more timid. Encountering people becomes difficult, painful. It's like a skill that you've lost. It's a feel that you've lost, and it's harder to get back. And you don't think of it that way. You think of, I don't want to go to that party. You've got to force yourself in the opposite direction. You've got to build that opposite momentum. Because the more you're out in the world, the more that you're social, the more that you're meeting people, the more that you will have chances for finding somebody that has similar interests to you. So, if online you're able to find people with similar interests to you and share that, that's great. But find a way to make it not so virtual. Meet people. Go to these places where they're people who are like-minded to you. Force yourself to become more social so there'll be more opportunities to meet other people. But the most important thing of all is to be okay with being alone sometimes, with actually finding it oddly enough kind of pleasurable to not have all those annoying noises, those annoying people, all that narcissism out there, all that crap that we have to deal with. Yeah, I like being alone sometimes. I like just sitting in the bathtub and reading a book. I like just watching a movie, etc. by myself. If you can do that, if you can find pleasure in being alone, then loneliness loses a lot of its sting. And then the other thing is to force yourself to develop that social muscle that we all have.